Hi everyone, I'm Kelsea Cannon. I'm a physical therapist and I work at Elizabeth Rogers Pilates and Physical Therapy. Welcome to our chair exercise routine today. It's going to run about 15 or so minutes, and this is designed for anyone who feels like they need to get their body moving, but they're safer doing it in a seated position, or later in the session we're also going to do some standing. So we're going to have the chair used, we're going to use the chair as an upper body support. So if you need a little bit of balance support, need to be in sitting, but you need to get your body moving, this is what this is designed for. Throughout this practice, we want to make sure that we're not working into pain. So if you feel any pain or pinching or something that's uncomfortable, feel free to do a little bit less, and I'll help guide you through any progressions or regressions as we move through the different exercises. In order to do this, we'll need a chair, and then if you have a towel handy, that's going to be helpful. It's going to be used more as a prop, so it's not necessary, but it's there for your taking if you want it. So to start, we're going to have you transition to the front of your chair, and so that way we're not going to be relying on the back of the chair. So we're going to rely on your posture muscles. And one thing to think about is lower body alignment. So are your feet on the ground? Are your feet, knees, and hips in the same line? Are your shoulders rested? And is your head just gently rested on your shoulders? And so what this looks like from the side is this. So again, if you pay attention to the upper trunk, your ear, shoulder, and hip are kind of in the same line. So we're not so much here where our body tends to end up, or here. We're just kind of lightly in a comfortable upright seated position with the head just lightly sitting on an imaginary shelf. Okay, so we're going to start with that alignment. And something that I think is always good to start with is deep belly breathing, because a lot of times we tend to breathe up top. So if you'd like, you can place your hands on your belly and just take a nice inhale and try to breathe in through your nose. And as you do that, you're going to feel your belly fill with air, and then exhale through pursed lips and you feel your belly decompress. Let's do 3 more nice big deep breaths. Do what you can, so don't force the breath. Make it easy if you can. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Inhale. And exhale. Now on the exhale, you can also use a little bit of abdominal kind of hug, and that helps you sit upright because you use your deeper abdominal muscles to help support your posture. And that feels like just kind of a 10% or 20% engagement. So inhale, expand. Exhale, lightly hug in. We're going to use that stability throughout this session. Maybe bring your hands up to the lower part of your ribs, and we don't pay a lot of attention to this part, but I want you to think about bucket handles. So when you inhale, your ribs expand up and out like little bucket handles. So inhale and exhale. And again, they go down and in like bucket handles. Let's do one more. Inhale and exhale. Good. Let's just drop your hands back to your lap. If you need to, just kind of shake it out a little bit. Ground through your sit bones, okay? And again, pay attention to your alignment, just like we set up. You're going to bring your hands to the side, palms facing you. And I want you to think about maintaining that upright alignment and that stable spine that we've set up. And we're first going to start with one arm, okay? Where we're going to reach up to the ceiling. Now again, if you can only go to here, that's fine. No worries. And then back down, and we're going to do the other arm. So we're just going to lightly move and glide through the shoulders. Because again, if we've been sitting for a while or if we're a little bit stiff and rigid, we're just getting the motion going in our shoulder joints. Now, if that feels fairly easy, you can do one and then the other and do kind of a scissor arm motion. Number 1 rule is just keep breathing. So if your breath is compromised, maybe you want to do a little bit less. Again, nothing should be painful. You're just moving. Good. Now eventually, if that's easy and you feel like you're starting to warm up, you might actually do both shoulders at the same time, trying to maintain that stability in your trunk. So that way we're not leaning or moving throughout our spine. We're just kind of reaching up and maintaining that stability in our shoulders, reaching your sit bones down into the chair. And let's do one more. Maybe choosing to inhale up and exhale back down. So hands back in lap. And I want you to do some nice slow shoulder rolls. So if you imagine clocks on either end of your shoulder, you're gonna bring your shoulders up towards 12 o'clock and then reach back towards 1, 2, 3, and so on. So make them slow, like you're getting those little nooks and crannies that we don't normally pay a lot of attention to. And we'll do a couple to each direction, and then we'll rotate. And again, just kind of moving your breath naturally. Maybe you like that inhale through the nose, exhale through your pursed lips, or maybe you just like a quiet breath pattern. Either one works. And just kind of shake it out. Moving up the chin a little bit to our neck, I want you to pretend like there's a pencil on the tip of your nose, and you're just gonna lightly draw the size of, say, a salad plate in the air. And you might even need to close your eyes for this, but you don't have to. We're not going very big with these circles. And you're just kind of moving through the neck. Now still think about having kind of an upright posture and a long neck, okay? And then we'll switch directions. So we're doing about 3 or so to each direction. Again, not moving into pain. Still think about maybe setting your chin on an imaginary shelf so it's not reaching forward, okay? We're just kind of reaching back, okay? Like the part opposite of your nose is lengthening to the back wall behind me. Okay, and then just kind of check in again with that upright posture. This is where we're gonna grab the towel. So your shoulders have been warmed up a little bit. If you don't have a towel, again, I'll show you with both, so you don't have to have a towel. But you're gonna hold the edges of the towel, and you're gonna lightly just kind of open through your collarbones. In other words, you're gonna feel your shoulder blades kind of kick into action. And from here, that towel's gonna go from the knees and then just up towards the crown of the head. Now you don't have to go further than what you're comfortable. Maybe keep your arms in the periphery of your vision. And then you're gonna drop back down. Maybe inhale up, exhale back down. If you don't have a towel, this simply looks like this, kind of on a little V shape. So it's a little bit different than earlier. And one more, and then back down. And then we're gonna stay up there on this last one. Now, you might choose to bend your elbows, that's okay too. From here, we're gonna go into a little bit of side bending. So you're gonna just kind of reach that towel towards your right side, opening up through the left side, and then you're gonna inhale back to center, exhale as you reverse to the other direction, ground through that right sit bone if you're leaning to the left, back up to center, one more each side, inhale, and exhale. You don't have to match the breath with movement if that's too much. And back up. Maybe give your arms a little break. Maybe shake your shoulders out a little bit. Again, we're just trying to be simple here and just move through the body. We're gonna bring that towel back up. So again, palms facing each other. Reach back up, long spine. We're gonna go into rotation. So inhale, prepare. Exhale as you rotate lightly, just keeping your chin in line with your sternum. And then back to center. And exhale towards the other direction. And back to center. Again, matching the breath. You're going to inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale, rotate lightly towards the other direction, and inhale back to center. And then we're gonna drop the towel. You can put the towel aside and shimmy around if you need to. We're gonna start to move through your hips and your knees and your ankles next, okay? So if you need to, you can help stabilize yourself with your hands on the chair or just hands on your lap. So it's up to you. So we're gonna do little mini marches, okay? We're gonna do we'll do about 4 or so on each side. We're gonna alternate. So it looks kind of like this. You're gonna lift one knee up and then gently place that foot back on the floor, and then the other knee follows, and then reverse. So the mission behind this is just moving through those front hip muscles, but all the while trying to stay nice and stable through your upper trunk and your lower trunk. So we're trying not to tilt or lean. We're just moving through our hips without moving through our spine. Let's do one more on the other side just to even it out. Good. Working down the chain, we're going to now extend through the knees and then back down. We're going to alternate. You might hear clicks, pops, and cracks, and that's okay. It's like dusting the cobwebs off. And then back down. Again, we're aiming for about 4 on each side. You could do less, you could do more. It's up to you. Again, just keeping your breath flowing naturally. Let's do one more on each side. Thinking about that alignment. Again, that foot, knee, and hip is in the same line. And let's move down to the ankles. Again, hands can be on your lap or in the chair. If you need to scoot back a little bit, you can. We're just gonna do some ankle rolls, okay? So kind of like those shoulder rolls, don't feel like you have to rush through this. Try to get all the little nooks and crannies. Again, you might hear sounds, clicks and pops and cracks, and that's good, as long as they're not painful. We're gonna go just each direction. You might do 2 or 3 times each direction, just enough to get a little bit of motion through the foot and ankle. And then of course we'll switch sides. Sometimes when we move, our body doesn't feel always the same on each side. So if you feel like one side is different with each exercise, that's totally normal and that's okay. Asymmetry is a part of life and we just kind of move through it as we can. Good. So you should have some type of fluid and warmth going at this point. So we're going to start to work through kind of a more kind of global exercise. So we're going to move through a sitting position to a standing position. So it's going to look like a modified squat. Okay, and this is a really functional position to be able to strengthen in. So again, back to that alignment, feet, knees, hips in the same line. Come to the edge of your chair. Options here for your hands are you can help yourself if you need a little assist, so by pushing off through the chair, or you can use your hands on your lap. It's up to you. So it looks like this. Inhale, prepare. Exhale, push through your heels and stand upright. And then we're going to sit back down. Now resist the temptation to plop. Okay, so don't let gravity take you down. Breathing, inhale, prepare. Exhale, push up into standing and back down. Think about your nose over your toes. If you're just breathing, that's good enough, okay? You don't have to match the breath with the movement all the time. And then back down. You should feel your hips and your legs be doing a lot of this work. Good. And back down. And let's do one more. Excellent. So we talked a lot about posture in this video, and so let's talk about posture in standing. So again, as you're in standing, coming up from the chair, you've got your feet, knees, and hips and shoulders all in the same line, okay? If we look at it from the side, the same thing applies as we talked about earlier. So ear, shoulder, hip, knee, ankle. So if you feel like you're too far forward, or you feel like you're too far back, just see what happens when you try to come a little bit more in the center, okay? Everybody's posture is different. There's no right or wrong answer, but it's nice to take a little posture check every once in a while. So we're going to use the chair now for more of an upper body support. So I'm going to go ahead and turn my chair facing this way. If you need to move your chair, feel free. So back to that standing position, you're going to put your hands on the front of the chair for balance, and you're going to reach through your tippy toes and then slowly lower. So these are calf raises, and this helps work the back side of the body. Good. You can kind of come back to your heels and lift your toes if you so choose, but you don't have to. And then you're going to slowly lower. Again, just keeping your trunk long, like you're reaching up through the crown of the head. And those abdominal muscles that we talked about earlier, you can use those. Think about those helping you as you lift up and then slowly lower. Let's do 2 more. Good. And slowly lower. So we're going to stretch that same muscle group out. So you feel that probably down through that lower calf. Let's start with stepping your left side back. Keep your hands on the chair, and it's kind of like a little stride stance. So I want you to think about engaging that left heel down towards the floor, okay? And the right leg is just kind of bent, supporting your body, fingertips on the chair. Now here's an option for those of you who want to use this as a balance exercise. First of all, you can just release your hands from the chair. That's balance in and of itself. If you feel like you are wanting to make this more of a challenge, you can reach your arms up and back down, similar to what we did earlier, just adding a little balance pose with it, but you don't have to. Good. If you're choosing to use your arms, bring them back to the chair, step your left leg forward, and then your right leg backwards. And let's do the same thing on the other side. Again, balance is similar, where it might not feel the same on each side. So grounding that right heel down, left leg is lightly bent, so you look like you're stretching through the bottom of your what is that, my right leg. Hands on the chair for balance if you want, hands at your side if you want more of a balance challenge, or third, hands up and down if you want even more of a balance challenge. No matter what, you're breathing, you're standing tall, you're using all those little spinal stabilizers that we've engaged. Hands to the chair, step forward, and then I'm going to turn side. Now, if you need to, you can kind of figure out what your needs are at home, but I'm going to turn side because this is going to give me more space to do the next exercise. We're just going to march, okay? So again, these are the muscles that we use to go up and down steps, walking. We're using the chair for support. And something to think about here is not only just the general motion, but also watching to make sure that we're not tilting. So in other words, we don't want that hip to jut out or our shoulders to tip like a teapot. So if you can help it, try to stand up nice and upright. Again, I've just chosen to do my right hand on the chair, but if you're at your kitchen counter, you can step forward and do smaller marches. It just depends if you have enough space. So this one has to be modified depending on your home environment and your body height. Good. Let's do one more on the left or on the right. You can just even yourself out. Now, if you were facing away from the chair, face towards the chair, and we're gonna work the outside of the body, or the sides of the body, and that helps for a lot of stability, helps for low back pain, hip pain, and it's oftentimes a challenge, okay, for people. So hands on the chair for stability, posture is upright. You're gonna lightly lift your hip, or your leg rather, out to the side. Now you're not going high, you're just gonna sweep it out and then sweep it back. So stay low, stay stable, stay safe, and back and forth. Now I'm gonna change my chair so you can see this from the other side, but notice that I'm staying in line with my body. So I just want you to see that I'm not tilting like a teapot. So if you're looking at me through a window, you wouldn't see my body move much at all, okay? You should be feeling this in your hips, kind of back through the buttocks. Let's do one more on each side. Good. Excellent. And then I'm gonna change my chair so you can see this last little exercise. So basically, we've moved through most bigger joints of your body, and I want you to place your hands on your chair, and this is the last one that we're gonna do. Pay attention to your alignment, your posture, your breathing, and I just want you to think about inhaling and reaching your chest up towards the ceiling, okay? It's oftentimes a hard to access place in our body, and then exhale, return back to neutral. The chair can help. If you so choose, you can kind of push down through your arms or your hands just to lightly lift your chest to the ceiling, and then back down. Let's do one more. Inhale as you reach your chest up, keeping your chin in line with your sternum like you're trying to hold an imaginary kiwi in between your chin and sternum, and then back down. Good. And then we're gonna turn back and just kind of let your arms drop heavy and think about how your body feels now compared to maybe what it felt like before this little series of exercises. You can do this once a day, you can do this twice a day, you can even do it up to 3 times a day. Everyone's abilities are going to be a little bit different, and if you feel like you need a little bit more guidance through this, or if you have more questions, you can access information about us on our website at elizabethrogerspt.com. And thanks for joining us.